kindergarten friends. I am excited that you are joining me for art this week. I cannot wait to get started on this project. We are going to be learning about an artist whose name is Monet, and he is very famous for pictures that he painted from his garden. So you might have a garden at your house, or maybe some flowers in a flower bed, but his garden was very big, and he would be able to go out and just paint. And the following video that we're going to be watching is just a glimpse at his beautiful garden that was in his backyard. What I would like to do for our project today, after you watch the video of Monet, is I want you to get some creativeness going. You can choose different ways to do your project. It can be on your iPad, it can be on paper, it can be more of a sculpture if you would like to do something like that. I'm going to show you several different options of ways to be inspired by Monet and his garden and his paintings. So let's get started and watch about Monet and then follow the next directions.
This is the Seine Valley here, and the light is very soft and very luminous. And Monet was very aware of that. I mean, all of the Impressionists worked in the area called the Ile-de-France around Paris or on the Normandy coast, because this part of France does have this very beautiful translucent light. But I think the quality of the light here in Giverny was one of the main reasons that Monet acquired this property and made his garden here. For the last 20 years of his life, this garden was his exclusive subject, and he actually began painting it in the 1890s, and he didn't die till 1926. And he's painting an environment that he himself has created. And I think that interconnection, that symbiosis between the artist and the gardener is truly remarkable.
He'd always had the taste of nature, good taste, knowing how to use colours, but I think he had to learn about gardening first of all, but he was very keen, he learned quickly, he was passionate, he had a big library, he was buying magazines and learning from magazines, surrounding himself with gardening friends and good advisors.
There's two gardens here really. I mean, we're standing in what was called the Clos Normand, a sort of enclosed Norman garden, much more traditional garden. When he took over the house, he started renting it in 1883, and then he buys it in 1890. And in some ways it's still got that formality, as you can see that it's divided into these beds and these long alley pathways in between. But within those beds, the planting is really quite loose and informal. And I think he was influenced partly by current ideas in garden design, many of which were coming from England, from garden designers like William Robinson and Gertrude Jekyll. But then, of course, on the other side of what is now the road, in his day was a small railway line, is the famous water lily garden, and there the influence is much more Asian and Oriental, with the water lilies and the bamboos and the weeping willows. I think it's not always appreciated the extent to which Monet was an incredibly knowledgeable and serious gardener. He really knew about plants and horticulture. So the garden itself, I think toward the end of his life, he actually said that the garden was his greatest work of art.
My friends, I hope you enjoyed doing our tour of Monet's garden. How beautiful was that, right? It had a bridge, it has different lily pads, different types of trees, and I hope that got you excited, because right now our project that we're going to do is based on the garden. So what you saw in the video, most of the time people remember Monet from his lily pad paintings, or the different weeping willows and different things like that. So we have a couple of options to do. For your project, I have 4 options that you can do to complete it. Depends on what you want to do. You can do a drawing on plain paper. So if you want to take and you want to do some drawing, remember a lily pad is more of an oval. You can do big ones, you can do small ones. A lot of his paintings were far away from the lily pad, so there was a lot of them, but you could also have some that are close up. But think of the lily pad as a oval shape that you're looking from the side. And then think about, could you add in some water around your lily pad? Could you draw in some different, could you draw in some flowers? Can you draw some trees around the edge? Are you going to just do water lily pads? Okay, so think about that if you're doing a drawing. You can do it on paper, or you can do a drawing on your iPad in the drawing pad as well. So that you got two options of drawing. The other options is that you can build it. So if you would like to use some different supplies, you can use like a box from a cracker box or from a like a cereal box, and you could cut out the shape of a lily pad. So using scissors, and these boxes are easy to cut. They're not like a thick cardboard, but you could cut out the shape of a lily pad. Still thinking like an oval. Then I was thinking, you know, a lot of lily pads have a flower with them. So I thought, well, maybe I could use my egg carton, because we are using eggs. And so you cut into this foam part. And you could trim this so that makes it more round instead of being pointed. And get creative on how you want to attach things. You can attach with glue, or maybe if you don't have glue, you could also maybe make a little slit into your cardboard, into the box, and then make a slit here. And maybe this will attach on here. We gotta be some resilient problem solvers here. And then maybe you could color it in, maybe with crayons, maybe with markers, or maybe you have paint at home. But you can do that, or you could also build a lily pad out of some clay that you have at home. If you have Play-Doh or modeling clay. So those are your four options. You can draw it on paper. You can draw it on your iPad if you would like in drawing pad. You can construct a lily pad for me out of different found objects around your house, or you could use Play-Doh or another type of clay at the house to build one for me. I hope you guys have a great time learning about lily pads and making one for yourself at home. I look forward to seeing them. Please send me a picture in the submission of what you decided to make and create. Have a great time working with lily pads inspired by Monet.